Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. So we are halfway through the week. We've seen tier 4, we've seen tier 5, we've seen tier 6, and now we are up to tier 7. The highest DPM tank of tier 7. Now this is actually a very close one. Of course it is this tank right here, the AT-15A. This holds the crown. This holds the crown with DPM when it comes to tier 7. So what kind of DPM are we looking at? Now of course in tier 6 we was getting upwards of just near 3,000. So are we going to go higher or is it going to be lower? So of course the AT-15A has tremendous amount of DPM. It's a very difficult tank to play because it's a little bit boring. The armor profile is okay on the AT-15A when you come up against tier 6s. If you can angle correctly, you can actually get a few bounces. Now, I do actually prefer the AT-15A in tier 7 than the AT-15 in tier 8. So the hit points, it's got 1,200 hit points. Armor-wise, 229 on your front, 150 on the sides, and 102 on your rear. But there are a load of weak points. Of course, you do have that hatch on top that is easily penetrated by a lot of the guards, especially when you are bottom tier. So DPM, we're sitting at 3,393 DPM with this tank, which obviously, as I've said, makes this tank number 1. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think is number 2? Now, I completely forgot about number 2, and there is a couple of tanks that actually have around the same amount of DPM. Of course, they are tank destroyers, one of them being the ISU-122S. Now, those of you that don't know this tank, take the SU-152 and just upgrade the gun to the best gun, the 122 millimeters, because this also holds around 3,353. So, yeah, I mean, very close, 3,353. Whereas, sorry, this where is so 3,353, and as I've said, this one is 3,393. So it only just holds the record. Now, again, the only other thing about this tank is it is very slow. The penetration isn't the best on the AP. I mean, you will struggle. You'll see it in a minute. I'm going to put in a replay, and I struggle to pen some tier 8 tanks. Like, even with APCR, you just cannot penetrate them. You do have a 200 alpha gun, and your reload is literally 3.5 seconds. 3.5 seconds for a 200 alpha gun. Very nice. 3.6 on your aim time, 0.290 on your dispersion. And it does have 10 degrees of gun depression. But as I've said, with the speed, the top speed is 20 kilometers per hour. So very slow. Very slow. Now, I don't mind this tank being slow. The only downfall with this tank being slow is when you have a matchup like this one, which is why I really wanted to show it. I have 3 medium tanks and a light tank. Really, I should be going that way. But because I'm just so slow, by the time I get there, it's going to be pretty much game over. And what am I going to do? So I thought, you know what? It looks like some of my heavies are coming this way. As soon as they start turning, I'm like, you can see me here. I start turning, then he starts turning. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to go this way. They have 3 heavy tanks. The enemy are started to be spotted over there. That's cap C is being capped. So I know that there is also a few round here. Now watch this. This is the Tiger with AP. This is the Tiger with APCR, the Tiger 2. I just can't pen it. So there's no point me coming up against this tank. Of course, if he goes to the side, then I will be able to penetrate it. Now, I don't do that much damage this game, but a lot of my shots are actually stupid shots that should really hit, but sadly don't, like these shots on the Tiger P. So I'm just waiting for him. He's an easy pen for me, as it should be, but again, I bounced that shot there, and I'm like, seriously, do I have to bounce? And again, there I just completely messed the shot up. Now, I know at the minute I'm not going to handle these 3, and there is also the Object 252U in the middle there as well. I'm not going to be able to handle. I just want to hold these as long as possible. And at this point, I'm not even after damage. I just want to hold these guys here as long as possible, because there's only one guy behind me. There's only one, well, a couple of guys behind me. Well, one this side of the map, which is the shark. And we're holding off, what, 3 tanks, maybe 4. So the longer I can hold these here, the better it would be for my team. So as you can see, I know I wasn't going to do damage there. I just tried tracking him, didn't work. There goes the Boresk. So now the Tiger P is going in the middle there. The Tiger 2 has started to push around. So I do manage to get the side shot. Now you can see I'm not really bouncing anything. I bounce from the SMV, and that is what this tank is. I mean, if you come up against tier 6s, of course you are going to bounce a few shots, because it's going to be a very difficult pen. If you can angle correctly, just like we're doing here, I don't know, he's trying to go for my cheeks. We do manage to get another bounce, and we're also going to get another bounce from this guy, the one in the 131. So we have bounced 1200. Now you can see I'm not looking at really attacking these guys. There's another bounce. I'm just trying to hide from him. I'm trying to hide from him for as long as possible. So I'm thinking, you know what? I've done my job in holding these. I only got 1300 damage, which isn't special, but I have blocked 1400 damage. Now, sadly, we are going to lose this game for one reason and one reason alone. This guy right here doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, he plays all right, but sadly, he's I believe he lost his connection. It is a 3 versus 4 at the moment, but there are a couple of guys on low hit points, and for him to pen that Tiger, you can see, okay, this guy's pretty decent. He knows what he's doing, and here he goes. He's trying to aim at this guy, and this is where he goes AFK, sadly. So because of that, if he wouldn't have gone AFK, 100% we would have won this game. He's full hit points, or he would full hit points. It would have been an easy win, but sadly, it wasn't to be. He went AFK. I tried my hardest holding 3 tier 8s, as well, pretty much 3 tier 8s. But yeah, 2 tier 8s and a couple of tier 7. But just sadly, I couldn't hold it for that long. Now, this game again, a lot of my shots do go AWOL. Now, the accuracy on this tank is actually pretty good. So this is why I sort of try some of the snapshots, because I'm thinking, you know what, I should hit some of these shots. So overall, like, it is a premium tank. Is the tank worth getting? Now, you can say yes, because, you know, it's the highest DPM tank in tier 7. People might want that. As it comes to AT lines, you know, the AT7, the AT2, AT15, blah, blah, blah. This is probably the strongest, because the armor profile is pretty much better than the rest of them. Obviously, the AT2 in tier 5, that is very, very strong. That's very strong armor profile, unless you do come up against tier 6s. Whereas this, because it just has that insane amount of DPM, like 3.5 seconds. If you use adrenaline, that's 2.9 seconds. You are just constantly firing. And if you can average roll just like that, we got dead on 200 there, another 225. As long as you can average roll at least with around about 200, then your DPM is just absolutely insane. And some of these shots, obviously you might get the low rolls just like we had there with the 170, but then again, 208. So as long as you do around the 200 alpha, if you can get into a position where, like I am now, I'm loving it. I don't do much damage this game, but I've got so many targets. I've got so many targets all around. And when you've got a reload of just 3.5 seconds, you want to get into a position where you can just farm the enemy. Like, you need to get your tank into a position where you can shoot. There is no point you flanking around the map and then the enemy on the other side of the map. Like, you need to get into a position. I'm not saying just camp at the back of the map, but like here, we're getting ourselves into the middle. I didn't want to go to the right. I didn't want to go to the left. I wanted to go to the middle, because this is where I'm more likely to get the most amount of shots. And I'm doing that. Obviously, I missed the shot on the J Panther 2. I'm going to miss another shot there, which is my fault because I'm reversing at the same time. We don't know where that shot went. So we have fluffed a few shots up. But overall, it's a good tank. When it does come for sale, it does usually come for quite cheap, a couple of K, 3K gold, sort of 3.5K gold, maybe 4. But yeah, if you've got the spare gold and you like these kind of slow tanks with high DPM, then yeah, maybe it is worth purchasing. But overall, the tank isn't special, even with the DPM. I would prefer it to lose some DPM, maybe give it a bit more armor or a little bit more speed. You know, bring it down to a 3000 DPM or 2900, give it some armor or give it some speed. I would be happy with that. I would prefer that. But as it stands, very slow tank. The armor's okay-ish, but the DPM, absolutely incredible. Let me know your thoughts on the AT-15A. Is it a tank that you have, and is it a tank that you play? So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll be back tomorrow for the highest DPM tank in tier 8. I will see you then. Bye-bye. With